Psychologist Sigmund Freud breaks down the persona into three main parts: id, ego, and superego. Your id is the unconscious and instinctual. It's just seeking that immediate gratification, not really thinking about the consequences. Your superego is composed of the morals and societal norms, more specifically, that you've internalized and manufacture as anxiety and guilt. And it's also unconscious. Your ego is the rational thinking part. It's the actual you. It's making the decisions between the superego and the id to satisfy both of them. Your id and superego hate each other. Your superego wants you to comply entirely with those societal norms, not stepping out of line even once. If you do, it'll get very upset with you, kind of like a father who just had to deal with his son getting expelled. It'll also get mad at you if you fail at something. You're missing a spot while you're cleaning, you mess up while you're playing baseball and you strike out. When you're giving too much power to your superego, it leads to you being super harsh on yourself anytime you make a little mistake. Your superego wants you to blend in and be a perfect person, a perfect member of society. Your id, on the other hand, wants you to be unapologetically you, and it focuses only on what's best for you. Your id says, screw these societal norms. It just wants you to go out, party, have sex, get high, chase that dopamine. Basically, it wants you to be kind of a degenerate. Now, like how people with no control over their superego are hard on themselves, people with no control over their id tend to be very self-centered and very emotional. You ever meet those people that feel like the world revolves around them, and anytime they get into a confrontation about it, they get super emotional, like you're attacking them specifically? Yeah, that's basically your id for you. The thing is, your ego is not always the best manager of these two. See, your authentic self is who you really are. It isn't complying with those societal norms, and it's not you being completely controlled by your desires and emotions. It's the actual you. However, you usually want to hide that from the world. That authentic you may not be the most pleasant. It may not comply with those societal norms. Maybe you're too genuine for certain settings, and that's where all of these faces come in. I mean, just think about the many faces you wear on your own day-to-day. When you're talking to teachers or admins at a school, or if you're talking to higher-ups in a company, you want those people to think well of you, so you confine yourselves to those societal rules. You don't want them to think you're bad, so you hide those bad parts. And you change your personality. You make it seem like you're that ideal person that they're looking for. You're deceiving them. You put up a nice persona, one that's inviting, that says, look at me, I'm a good person. You want to be around me. I don't do any bad things. When your superego controls your personality, you're someone that just always complies with the social and societal norms, and you'll tend to be very hard on yourself, and this will be genuine. But the thing is, your id has a very good skill. It has this good skill of using your superego to deceive, because you have those people that genuinely confine themselves to the societal rules, but then you have people that put that up as a front so that they can hide who they truly are. With this, I'm talking about when you're hanging out with your friends who you've been friends with for a while, but you're still putting up that fake persona. Sometimes it gets quite devious. Some people will put up a specifically friendly and inviting persona around a certain person to lure them in, and then they actually have really malicious intentions. Other times, people put up a face as sort of a defense mechanism. Some people put up a tough face because internally they're really weak. Other people put up a happy face when really on the inside they're hurting. The thing is, you can't really tell if it's a face or not unless you really know what that person's actually like, or if you can kind of tell for the signs. These faces don't really go away until that person starts opening themselves up to you. You start hanging out with that girl you like, and it turns out once she gets comfortable, she's super mean and abusive. That's the id using the superego to hide her true malicious self as a nice appealing person. It's a constant battle between superego and id. Just make sure you're not letting either of them win. When you're an actual good person, you're not doing it to make yourself look good. You're not completely absorbed by your emotions. Thanks for tuning in. If you have a topic you'd like for me to discuss or question you'd like me to answer, please write me a very nicely and detailed worded letter in the description in the form. Thank you all so much for watching. Until we meet again.